Hello everyone, welcome back to this lecture series on C programming. This is the fourth lecture of the series. In this lecture, I am going to explain the proper compilation process and we'll write our first C program and get understanding of what's going on. Before going to that, let me show you how the compilation occurs. We have seen this thing already, but I'm going to explain once again because this time we are going to go in a little depth. So first we have our source code, which is .c extension. The source code will be then given to compiler gcc our source code m.c. We want our output to be with a file named m. Okay. If we do not specify the output name, if we do not specify -o switch, then the output by default save to a.out file. This compilation will give us the machine executable code and that can be invoked using /m. But this compilation internally has these four things, and out of these, compiling itself is an entire subject. How does the compiler work? How does all the things happen? So we will not go in depth of it. We will just look at these four things. And what is the need of this binary thing? Because computers understand only in terms of ones and zeros, but that is too difficult for us to understand. Even if we somehow learn and write, if in future there is requirement for rebuilding the code, for integrating with something, or to modify it, then it will be really difficult because then we will have to go through the whole code again and it is too hectic. So one of the options is assembly language. Assembly is nothing but just mnemonics for binary actions. But writing the code in assembly is also a little tricky. So C is our choice here. So what will happen is we will have some pre-processing directives. So I'll write the code here. So here I have written hash include stdio.h. Okay, what does all of this mean? This means hash means the next coming thing is going to be processed before processing the main code. This is like when you travel on the road, you see signboards. So this is a signboard. It is telling the compiler that next thing is a preprocessor directive. Next is this. Now include is a directive which will bring out a file from some location to this code. So stdio means standard input output. .h means header, like .c means C code, .exe means executable code, .mp4 means video file. Similarly, .h means header file. Okay, and these angle brackets, this one and this one, signify that this file is to be loaded from standard location. If I had some other header, say for example, if I had a header and I had to include a file named mayank.h, then what would I do? I'll give the absolute path, or if I know the directory in which I'm going to execute, then I'll give the relative path. So it can be ./mayank.h means in the present directory look for this thing, and if I do not know, then I will just give in home directory go and look for mayank.h. So if the file is in the standard folder, I'll tell you where is the standard folder, then we'll write these angle brackets, otherwise we'll use quotes. Okay, this is preprocessor directive. Next is int. So this is our code. Now I'll show you how the pre-processing happens inside this whole process. First I'll show and execute this command. Thereafter I'll show you how can we manually see the output of each of these things. So now see, we have test.c here. Okay, and what I will do is gcc test.c output in my executable. So let me call it hello. That's it. Now you see is test.c, the file which was already there, and here is another file called hello, but the color is green. Green means it is executable. So how will we run it? ./he, press tab. It will auto complete. Exact same code. So now we got from this, we got this. But this whole process happened between all of it. So now I'll show you how is everything happening. So I'll remove the executable and now we don't need Vim. So first of all, I'll do gcc capital E, okay, capital E test.c, and I'll save this output to test.i. This is to see what will happen after pre-processing. So I'll show you guys the actual thing here. This is our source code, and now I'm running something gcc with a switch dash e on this file, and I'm saving the output to test.i. Now we have a file test.i. What is this file? This code. This code is exactly same as that of this code, but hash include standard io.h is nowhere. Okay, so this one thing, this one line got replaced by these 728 lines. This is first thing which happens during pre-processing. Second thing is, if say for example I write comments, if I give here comments, I'm again going to execute the same command gcc-e test.c to test.i. Done. And now we will see this file test.i. See, exact same thing, no difference. This is the code. This comment has been removed. This is a comment. That line is not there. Lol, it is also not there. So pre-processing removed the comments also. Now I'll show you from where is this file getting loaded. Standard io.h. Where is this file? So we go to in Linux user include, and here will be our file. So what I will do is, this is the file, and these are all the comments. So when it got replaced, these comments were also omitted. I'll just take you guys to the end of this file. See, this has 875 lines of code, but there are only 728 because these comments, like this is a multi-line comment, this is a multi-line comment, this is a multi-line comment, and all up to here. So these things are removed. Comments get truncated during pre-processing. So now what do we have? We have our source code. We have a pre-processed file test.i. I'll write that. From .c we get .i, and this is where pre-processing happens. Next thing, now we have this .i file, right? So .i is our pre-processed file. The pre-processed file will then be given to compiler. Compiler will generate assembly code. So I'll show you how we will generate assembly code from .i file. Here I have the test.i file. So I'll say gcc capital S test.i. See, test.c our source file. This is our pre-processed file, and test.s, this is our assembly file. The same code, no difference, and it will mention the Ubuntu operating system's compiler version also. So this is the code which we are going to print. This is assembly code. Now this assembly code is then converted into .s, and this is called compilation. Then this .s code is our assembly code. This assembly code will be then converted to executable. In the middle of it, if we want, we can always go and here if we want we can do linking, because all files are not always created at the same time. So we may have multiple files and we may want to club them up. This is done using a linker. So here this process which is taking place is called linking. Here we need not to bother about it because we will be writing everything in procedural oriented. Now the final step. So we have our source code, preprocessed file, assembly code. Now from assembly code to executable. So what do I want to name my file? I want to name my file as my name, measures. And if I run, it will run the same thing. And if I do not give anything, see here I have given this output option. Here I am not giving any output option. Now the file that will be created is ./a.out. One more thing, in one folder there will be always only one a.out file, because if I write some other code, if I compile this code test2.c without telling any output file name, so this will be by default a.out and the previous a.out file will be removed, new will be created. See, test2. Now it is not printing hello world, but Mayank will print hello world. So that's it for this video. From next video, we'll start to understand the meaning of everything. Why is it int? Why is it main? Why we have used these brackets? Why we have used these brackets? Why this thing? Why this thing? Everything will be explained from next video onwards. That's it for this video. From next video, we are going to get into actual programming, understanding the logic and syntaxes. Till then, peace.